Zephyr's mission log, entry 1. Our captain-in-command Nimbus has decided it's time to step down and hand the reins of the squad over to... Hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Zephyr's my name, and my friends and I are Wind Warriors. It's our universal task to create atmosphere on lifeless planets. As part of the rite of passage, I began to evolve, becoming more like Nimbus in appearance to make the transfer of leadership easier for the squad. And I also started talking to myself from the nerves, hence this mission log. It was the most exciting time of my life, and I couldn't imagine it getting any better. And then we met Omegaton. The greatest hero of a strange, backwards dimension that he described as an antimatter universe, whatever that is. Omegaton's enemies joined forces and outnumbered him. Omegaton was stripped of his 6 orbs of power and banished to our universe. He would have quickly perished if we didn't find him. Nimbus realized that Omegaton needed to absorb positive matter to maintain atomic cohesion in our universe. Yeah, I didn't understand it either. Antimatter physics was never my thing. Long story short, without us, Omegaton couldn't survive. With the approval of Nimbus, I gave my first order. We would find Omegaton's orbs and help him return home. Our search took us to Earth, and to our first big problem, its yellow sun. Its radiation is deadly to my kind, but Omegaton assured us he had a solution. Strangely, he could only get so close to the planet. We were stumped until Nimbus figured out why. His enemies were ahead of us. They dispatched an army of flaming little buggers called Fireflyers to keep the orbs away from Omegaton. To make matters worse, they buried powerful totems near the orbs. The totems projected a force field that keeps Omegaton at a distance. The odds are stacked against us, but we've got a lightweight object amalgam device, or lodestar, on our side. Given to us by Omegaton, the lodestar can locate the orbs, collect and hold the Fireflyers. It's also been rigged to provide cloud cover from the UV rays. As we make our way planetside, something Nimbus once told me rings in my head. Sometimes, Zephyr, the mission chooses us. I couldn't have been more right. As always. Zephyr's mission log, entry 2. The squad was curious to know more about these fire beings we had just encountered. I tried to come up with an answer for them, but the truth is, I was also in the dark and just as curious as they were. Nimbus let us know that the lodestar had located another orb not too far from our current location. I ordered the troops to move out. It would be safer to travel at night when the UV rays would pose less of a danger. Nimbus flashed me a secret grin, his quiet approval of my plans. Our first mission was a success, but things were only going to get more dangerous now that the Fireflyers knew we were here. For the first time, I started to feel like I wasn't in over my head. How quickly I would learn. Zephyr's mission log, entry 3. The troops were exhausted from traveling all night. We just had no time for sleep. Now, their welfare was my responsibility, so to help them unwind, I found us a place to decompress. While the Wind Warriors rested in the deep shade of a nearby forest, I watched Nimbus calibrate the lodestar. Circuits and gears and flashing readouts always made me dizzy. Luckily, Nimbus was more adept. As lodestar pointed towards our next location, he cracked my tailwind over the confused look on my face. Apparently, it's all in the thumbs. Omegaton's first orb returned to its rightful owner, like a shooting star being rewound. And I was too troubled to enjoy the show. The humans never asked for any of this, I confided in Nimbus. Collateral damage may be unavoidable, but we've left these people homeless. Nimbus reminded me that no one would follow me if I led with doubt. I needed to act like a leader. I called the troops together, intending to tell them that post-mission we'd help rebuild. was cut off by Lodestar's distinctive chime. It had found another orb. Entry 5. We traveled all night again, hoping to catch the fireflies by surprise, but the little buggers left us a present, the flaming kind. As I dodged through their flaming gauntlet, I remember thinking we must be getting to them. Then I caught a glimpse of Nimbus, and the localized pressure system I call a heart skipped a beat. I was scared. Losing Nimbus on my very first mission was my worst nightmare come to life. Nimbus screamed to put the mission first as he handed over the Lodestar. In my head, I knew he was right, but I didn't know if I could do this without him. Nimbus told me he picked me for a reason, that he had confidence in choosing me, and that I was ready. I was determined to show him he made the right choice. Zephyr's mission log, entry 6. Seconds after the totem was destroyed, I was half a mile back the other way. I'm pretty sure a sonic boom cracked the desert air behind me, but I couldn't hear it over the pounding of my heart. All I could think about was Nimbus. I was too late. The fireflies had taken him. The eyes of the entire squad were on my back. I never knew eyes could weigh so heavily upon me. I let them know that I wanted to go after Nimbus too, but we had to ask ourselves what he would do in this situation. The Lodestar answered for me with the location of our next mission. No one said this job would be easy. I squared my shoulders, picked up my chin, and told the squad to move out. Zephyr, entry 7. The strip rose from the desert like a schizophrenic neon playground. I overheard one of the squad excitedly whisper to another about doing some sightseeing after the mission. I remembered being that innocent once, just the day before, in fact. Then, a sudden flash of light caught my attention. We were too fast for the attack, but there was no question who sent it. The fireflies. They were getting on their nerves, no doubt. The feeling was mutual. Nimbus had been here. His armor was still warm from the balmy air currents he radiates. I vowed to move the Earth itself to find our friend when the Earth beat me to it. I somehow managed to keep the squad calm until the tremor passed. I couldn't shake the feeling that the earthquake we felt was an omen, a sign that things were getting worse. I only wish I had been wrong. Zephyr's mission log, entry 9. Flying at night on our way to the next orb, I spotted Nimbus's cape pinned beneath a rock on the ground below. He had scrawled a warning on it, something he was obviously forced to write by the fireflies. So of course I ignored it. A new friend appeared, calling itself a stone smasher. He wanted to lend a hand and share some of his power in helping our cause. He also explained how the totems were creating fault lines beneath the Earth's crust. If all the totems weren't destroyed, the entire planet would cave in on itself. That would be bad. I think I took the news pretty well. It was disaster. One moment we're standing on terra firma, the next, a giant crack opened beneath us and slammed shut again, trapping 4 Goodwin warriors below ground. It happened so fast there was no time to get to safety. Looking around, I knew I had to pull my team together. I threw in every inspiring word I could think of to pick up their morale. Somewhere around paid vacations and holidays off, Lodestar signaled our next location. Against all odds, my rambling speech somehow worked. The squad recovered. They were with me again. I just wish I remembered what I promised exactly regarding those paid vacations. Zephyr's mission log, entry 11. After a long night of travel, we reached the village of Ringling. We were exhausted, to say the least. The squad hadn't rested in days. In a trance, one soldier accidentally bumped into me, catching me off guard, and I dropped the Lodestar. The squad was stressed. We had already lost too many good soldiers, and none of us wanted to get deep fried if the Lodestar suddenly stopped working. I gave it a good diagnostic, and the damage looked worse than it really was, but didn't go a long way to ease the tension and anxious nerves. I growled at the squad. It was true we could get cooked, and like them, I wish Nimbus were there too. But the mission had to come first. If Lodestar failed, at least we would fry for a good cause. Zephyr's mission log, entry 12. To keep them out of the sun, I sent the squad down into a secret underground village dug beneath this place. Lodestar was unfolded in front of me like a sick patient. After hours of careful study, I diagnosed the problem and made quick work of making the adjustments. If I was wrong, the mission would be blown and it would all be on me. The Lodestar began to purr like a kitten. I felt the weight of the world slide off my shoulders. We were okay, at least for the moment. Zephyr's mission log, entry, whatever. It was late. I was tired. Every time I sent the squad ahead, something weird would happen. This time I got to meet 3 strange water-based life forms. While they seemed preoccupied with finding their twins, they still wanted to help us with our mission. I asked if they had seen anyone else like us. One of them pointed towards the continent I was heading to. Taking it as a sign that Nimbus had been this way, I redoubled my efforts. As I got closer to our next location, I could see there was some kind of celebration going on. I hated to spoil the party, but not all of us had the day off. We're getting close. Only 2 more orbs to find, and 1 hidden tunnel to explore. From the melted look of the walls, I deduced that the tunnel was created by the Fireflyers. What were they trying to hide? Cautiously, I investigated. Miraculously, the tunnel led me to Nimbus. The Fireflyers must have kept him captive down there. He was frail, barely conscious. He weakly croaked something about the universe being backwards before passing out. Out of the corner of my eye, a light I'd never seen started blinking on the Lodestar. My first instinct was maybe it was still damaged and was flashing a warning. I decided to worry about it later. Nimbus was back, and just for a few moments, that was all that really mattered to any of us. Zephyr's mission log. At this point, it was all a blur. We survived yet another earthquake en route to our next stop. It was clear this planet was doomed unless we moved fast. Which is why it was especially strange that Nimbus shouted for me to wait before suddenly passing out again. I told the Wind Warriors to make sure Nimbus regained his strength while I made the Fireflyers pay for what they put him through. I awoke to the sound of Nimbus calling my name. He tried to warn me, but I was so focused on the mission, I didn't listen. Omegaton was from an antimatter universe, where everything is reversed. A hero there is a villain here. He's a monster, the greatest evil his dimension has ever known, and I helped him regain his orbs of power. Me, the greatest fool my universe has ever known. Back in the desert, the Fireflyers explained to Nimbus what Omegaton really was. He listened to their plight and decided to help them. In return, they dug Nimbus an underground sanctuary to protect him when the UV rays got to be too much. Nimbus could have explained things to me then, but we both needed to know I'd never quit when things got hot. I had passed his trial by fire. Like a storm system gaining strength, I felt my second wind kick in. It was time to stop Omegaton. And that brings us to the here and now, a far worse place than we could have ever imagined. Omegaton has combined the power of his orbs with the power of the Fireflyers he's absorbed. How do we stop him without hurting the Fireflyers? Even Nimbus is at a loss, something I find hard to fathom. Even worse, the troops that went on ahead of me to try and stop Omegaton are currently captive in some sort of crystal prison. Stacking the deck even further, Nimbus believes that exposure to the energy radiating from Omegaton's belt will fry me just as bad as the UV light from the sun. I surprise even myself when I hear the words, "I have a plan," coming from my mouth. Omegaton's power lies in his orbs. If the Wind Warriors can distract him, maybe I can get close enough to take him down, smash the orbs, and free the Fireflyers. Won't be easy, but it's the best chance we've got. It's all over, but for the rebuilding. Hard to believe the Fireflyers are actually part of an elite squad sent to Earth to keep Omegaton from regaining his orbs, but Nimbus ran with them long enough to know. Then a thought occurred to me. If the Fireflyers are so great, why would they allow the planet to be destroyed by the earthquakes the totems were causing? Nimbus explains that the rock and water creatures were wrong. The totems weren't causing the tremors. They were keeping Omegaton at bay. Earthquakes were caused by shockwaves radiating from Omegaton, becoming more powerful as he was reunited with each orb. The rock and water creatures were banished eons ago by Omegaton. They've been stranded on Earth for so long, they've forgotten their true origins. We needed to find the rock and water elementals and help them return home. It won't be easy to find them all, but like a wise elemental once said, sometimes the mission chooses us. I feel my squad behind me, tired but unbowed, ready for action. Come what may, I know we can handle it. Nobody said it was going to be easy, and it wasn't. I'm looking forward to finally getting off this planet and back into space. We had stopped Omegaton, destroyed his orbs of power, and even rescued 2 entire races of elemental creatures. Not bad for a first official mission, if I do say so myself. Lodestar has one final trick to show us. It opens a portal to allow the earth and water elementals to return home, and we're done. As I lead the Wind Warriors into the cool silence of space, a proud feeling and calm falls over me, knowing that I'm returning home a hero and looking forward to our next adventure.